Time kills deals. The longer it takes, the more chance another buyer could come about and outbid you.
When things go quiet, that's when you've got to start to worry.
Most people would be inclined to think, if I've already been paid, I can take my foot off the gas. For me, the foot's on the gas the whole time.
You need to be on video. If people can't, like we're doing now, if people can't hear, listen and see you, how do they feel comfortable enough to work with you? It's not by a photo anymore.
I cannot remember the last time I personally sourced a deal off of Rightmove.
If you want to make sales, I wouldn't say running the business now is the hardest part of actually being successful in business. I think it's, hey everyone, welcome back for a part 2 with Mr. Stapleton. And today we're going to be talking about high volume in terms of when you're doing deals. So whether you are trying to get property deals, whether you're trying to get new leads, clients, whatever it might be, but the really important part, and we had a discussion off air again about this, and we were like, we have to talk about this because this is something really relevant. And I think some people, they get too focused on the one deal rather than getting a deal lined up, but then straight on to building up a pipeline because deals do fall through. So how important is it to be that salesman, saleswoman, and keep that volume coming in?
Yeah, pipeline, consistency, it's everything. It's everything that I say to the staff every single day. If you're focused on that one deal and you want to go through the process and you want to see sort of how it progresses and goes all the way through to completion and getting paid, that's fine. But that process can be anywhere between 3 and 6 months. So when you get paid out on that deal and you don't have a pipeline, you're then going to wait another 3 to 6 months. But the biggest problem is you put so much of your time, effort and emotion into that deal. If that deal falls through, like you said, deals do, lots of down valuations at the moment, vendors pull out, buyers pull out, that will be devastating to you. So I'm always of the opinion, if you're starting out in property sourcing or anything else and it's going to take you a 3-month period to start getting paid, you want to make sure as soon as that 3-month payment period kicks in and you get paid out on your first deal, it's just a domino effect week on week, that you've had the pipeline already built, that you're getting paid every single week or every single month. And it's a numbers game. I work on the basis of 50%. That's not to say our ratio is 50%, but I'd rather under promise, overachieve. So if I think 5 out of 10 deals will go through and 7 come through, I'm a happy boy. But if I think every single deal is going to go through and 5 fall out, then it's pretty heartbreaking, to be fair.
It is. And I don't think you learn this until
you feel the pain.
Yeah, you feel the pain. Yeah, absolutely. I think the only way you learn it, I remember one deal that I'd been focusing on for so long, and it was a big payout, and I'd put all my eggs in that one basket. And I was much younger, but I know a lot of people, and I'm saying this because hopefully people learn from it, is I remember spending the money in my head before it ever landed. And it was almost like you bring bad karma on you, because if you get too attached, and this is where you need to take emotion out of it, don't you? And you only learn this as time goes on. But that deal didn't go through, and it absolutely crushed me because I'd already know where the money was going. I knew what I was doing with it. And lo and behold, that bad energy, talking about it. I mean, my God, thank God I've never put numbers on social media, but that's one of my biggest pet hates is where you see people put out numbers on social media. And I think, how many times have you heard it? I've heard it countless amounts of times where people have said, I've got 5 deals going through. You catch up with them in 4 or 5 weeks and you say, how did your 4 or 5 deals go? And they went, yeah, none of them. And I just think it's because you were talking about it too much. You should have just knuckled down, built those up, and then built another 4, 5. Because like you say, I actually work very much the same, a 50% ratio. If you have 10 deals, 5 of them are going to fall flat, if not 6 or 7.
Yeah. I think a numbers game is in anything that you do as well. And we kind of had a conversation about spending it in your head before you do it. And again, all the time you're doing that could be time spent actually, like you said, generating more deals, more leads. And I think a lot of deals fall through because of a lack of education in actually the process after a sale. So the progression, the aftercare, whatever industry you're in. I employed a sales progressor because I wanted the best of the best to be managing my deals to ensure they have the best possible chance of going through. So many deals are just left organically to go through with solicitors and mortgage brokers, and that's probably why they fall through, because they're not being pushed, they're not being chased. And it's the old saying, isn't it? Time kills deals. The longer it takes, the more chance another buyer could come about and outbid you. They could change their mind. Someone could pass away. The tenant could do something wrong. So you want to get it through in the quickest possible time. And what I quite like about our business model is that we get paid on completion. We don't get paid on reservation. So it's a lot easier to spend that money in your head when that money's in your bank, or potentially physically spend it when it's in your bank. I know you're not supposed to, but people do. For us, we're motivated because we don't get paid until completion. So I quite like that, because I'm not saying I would be that way, but most people would be inclined to think, if I've already been paid, I can take my foot off the gas. For me, the foot's on the gas the whole time because I want to get paid, which is great for the vendor as well. We've got a mutual sort of benefit there.
Also, communication. You said there about when deals break down. I think when things go quiet, that's when you've got to start to worry. And that's why, for what I do when I'm working with clients, is that I have such a rigorous due diligence process at stage one, is what I call it. Anytime I take on a new client, or if I'm raising finance or whatever it might be, I have such a thorough process, because I now know I need to tick as many boxes day one and answer as many questions so that I don't waste time. Again, I'm such a big believer in not wasting time. So I try and tick as many boxes to begin with on every single deal, and knowing what deals to pick as well, because that's the other thing, is I know so many fall into the trap of throw anything my way. Yeah, I'll take it all. Although that's not my business, I'll take it all. Whereas now I'm really picky, and I'll go for a high ticket client rather than the medium and the low, because I'd rather high caliber, high quality, really professional. And then I know that my professional work is matching, hopefully, what is going to be theirs. And we won't go into it on this podcast, but of a recent deal where I could have lost a lot of money, and it's still up in the air at the moment, and that's due to not knowing the ins and outs. But I haven't sat still waiting on this one deal. I've carried on with my pipeline,
and I think it is all about DD at the front end. Myself and my sales progressor, we have a saying that's all about fire prevention. We know that we can put fires out further down the line, but that's just added stress that you don't need. So up front, we will ask for everything and more than a conveyancer will ask for. And we do that just because we don't want that headache to come a month down the line. We'd rather deal with it now while we're selling it and have everything ready, so that if there is anything, whether it's issues with the planning, issues with certificates, EPCs, whatever it might be, we can get the ball rolling before even the survey happens. And I think you need to forward think, and I think one of the biggest traits of a successful person is being a good problem solver and thinking ahead.
Yeah, and you've got to be a salesman or saleswoman. And the other thing is, just so this relates to everyone, is this what we're talking about now goes across the board to all businesses. And some people might be sitting here watching, okay, I know you're saying we need to build up a funnel, we need more sales, we need to build up more leads. Aaron, Paul, how do you do it? My take on that, firstly, is you need to be on LinkedIn. You need to be talking about what you're doing. You need to be, like we've spoken with guests before that we've had on the podcast, you need to be on video. If people can't, like we're doing now, if people can't hear, listen and see you, how do they feel comfortable enough to work with you? It's not by a photo anymore. And then just on LinkedIn is great for business, but you have to suck up the fact that you've got a prospect. Me and you prospect on LinkedIn all the time. All the time. And it works. I've been doing it for 7.5 years on LinkedIn, and it's made decent money. You have to prospect.
I've made the most money on LinkedIn than any other part of my business. I say to the guys that work with me all the time, I cannot remember the last time I personally sourced a deal off of Rightmove. I want to say 3-4 years now it's been since I sourced a deal. Everything is direct to vendor off of LinkedIn, and that's just the way I've built my audience. But it's kind of like you said, you can't hide behind a picture anymore.
No.
You and I have been victim to it. So many of our friends have. People creating fake accounts, putting up pictures, getting people to transfer you money. you need to be on the live stories. You need to be interacting with people. People need to know that you're a real person. You need to be meeting them in person, meeting them at networking events, because it's more difficult now to trust people because of all of the scams that are going on, because of how easy it is to set up a company, set up a website, set up an Instagram account. There's just so much of it that, yeah, it's a lot harder now. Especially with what we do. We're based in London, but everything we do is at least 200-300 miles away, and we don't really meet those people. So credibility is everything. And Dan, who's behind the camera today, we were having a chat. Every time we have a call with a vendor or we send out a contract, you can 9 times out of 10 guarantee that I'll have a LinkedIn notification to say that they viewed my profile, which is great. They're effectively just viewing my CV, but it just shows that if that isn't up to scratch, that's the first thing people are doing. They're going onto your website, your socials. So you just need to be active and consistent, like we always say.
Yeah, and that the thing is, if you want to make sales, I wouldn't say running the business now is the hardest part of actually being successful in business. I think it's out marketing your competitors. I think you've got to be. We're always thinking of marketing. I mean, we're looking to grow peak performance, and we're already thinking, right, okay, what arm comes off of it? You know, what can we attach? Where can we grow? And every time you can come up with the ideas, but what's the hardest part? It's the marketing. How do you compete with people? You can do any business, but you just have to be great at marketing. You have to be on the ball, and and that's that catch-22. It's the rock and the hard place. Do we all want to be on loads of social media platforms all the time?
Trial and error as well. I think yesterday we spoke. We gave LinkedIn advertising a go. I think it was a very quick £100 in a day, and we got a few clicks on the Eventbrite, but it didn't really convert into much.
It is trial and error, which ultimately results in, again, what we said at the beginning of this video: high numbers. Keep the volume going. If it's in sales, leads, property, whatever, you've got to keep it ticking over. So Paul, thanks so much. Hopefully this helped everyone that's watched so far, and we will see you all very soon.